Hey folks, seems we have some new music here. So let's start the next case. And some new sound effects. A Greek tragedy. What a thrill to be in a chariot race. And I won. I couldn't have done it without Matthew's help and Kai's. Speaking of Kai, has anyone seen him? Hey Zara, I heard you won. Oh my god, Kai, you look terrible. You need to lie down. Nah, I'm tougher than I look. I'm fine. Kai! Matthew, this is awful. Out of the blue, Kai just passed out. Janice says he's very ill. I'm super worried about him, and not just because he's our friend. He's the only one who can repair the time machine and get us out of 37 BC and back to the present. I can't figure out what's wrong with Kai. I've done just about everything I can, short of cutting him open. What if he's got some disease from ancient times that our bodies are no longer equipped to fight? Yes, that's what worries me. What we need is a doctor from this time, that is, 37 BCE. So someone skilled in medicine in this era, in this corner of the world, there's got to be someone. Ah, there was a guy we learned about in med school named Theophilos, who was very accomplished in medicine. Or Theophilos. We can find him in Greece. Theophilos. Well, Matthew, let's keep the time machine cloaked and head over to Greece right away. Theophilus. Theophilus, we greatly appreciate that you agreed to see us. We have come a long way and our friend is very ill. I hope I can help you, Centurions. Tell me about your friend's illness. Well, he just collapsed and he's been unconscious since. That sounds very serious. Have you noticed if his level of yellow bile has... Theophilus, here you are. You're to stand trial for the murder of High Priest Pelagios. What? I murdered no one. I'm a man of medicine. Yes, you did. Pelagios ascended the stairway on Mount Olympus. You murdered him and snuck back down here. Now silence. You're coming with us. Centurion, Matthew, you have to help me. I didn't kill anyone. This is terrible, Matthew. Kai is sick and Theophilos is the only one who can help him. And now Theophilos is arrested. What are we going to do? You're right. He's apparently accused of murder. We've got to solve the case ourselves, and when he's proven innocent, he'll be free to help us. This means you got to find the real killer. The guard said the murder happened on Mount Olympus. Let's head to the crime scene. That city guard was right. There's a dead body here. He said the victim's name was Pelagios, and he was some kind of high priest. And look, he was shot with an arrow. There's another arrow next to the body, but it's broken. It appears it hit Pelagios and he broke it while pulling it out of his chest. We'll want to test it for evidence left by our killer. And now that we've been to the crime scene, we definitely have to get Theophilus' side of the story. We can also consult him about Kai's sickness while we're at it. Let's get cracking on this case. Centurion Matthew, I did not kill Pelagios. You must tell them. We're investigating the case. But first, Theophilus, can you please tell us how to cure our friend? I cannot help you here in jail. I had to examine your friend and have none of my equipment with me. Please, you must prove my innocence. Tell us everything you know. It is well known that Pelagios and I were enemies. He was a man of religion while I am a skeptic. Naturally, our ideas opposed. But what kind of scientist would I be if I thought the only alternative to religion was murder? Well, we need to know where to look next. Where would you look for clues if you were us? I would recommend the Temple of Zeus. Pelagios spent most of his time there with his followers. Okay, now let's see if I got enough. No. No lucky find. Wow, Matthew, look at this place. Look at that statue of Zeus. My family had very little when I grew up, so to get to travel the world, not to mention through time, and see these luxurious places is such a treat. Okay, you're right. We've got to get to work. Theophilus said Pelagios spent a lot of time here. Is that a basket of fruit you found? Could it be some kind of offering or gift? If we dig through it, we might find some indication of whose it is. And this paper is torn to pieces. It could help us find our killer. Let's put it back together. So I'm going to get stars to type, folks. Okay, now I've got 9 stars, so pretty sure that's going to help me out for the rest of this time. Let's see if I can do myself some good here. Substance. I agree, Matthew. Since we sent the body with the arrow in it to Janice, she should be the one to look at the sample you took from this arrow. Three hours. Now, torn paper. Ah, Matthew, this paper shows some kind of diagram, but most of it's faded. Let's recover the rest. had to start again because it wouldn't... Oh wow, this drawing looks like the statue of Zeus here in the temple. And it appears these measurements were made using a real model. And there's a name on the drawing, Solon. You're right, we should seek out this Solon and see if he knew priest Pelagios. This is actually something that I'm a little bit familiar with. I am familiar with Zeus and Hercules and Hera and Aphrodite, especially from watching Hercules and Xena, the battle for Mount Olympus. Ah, spectators, have you come to ask incredible feats of might, or perhaps just to gaze upon Solon? Actually, we're investigating the murder of High Priest Pelagios. Pelagios was murdered? Oh, this is very bad news. Is that so? What was your connection to the priest? I served as the model for every one of the statues in the Temple of Zeus and up Apollo's stairway on Mount Olympus. Sure, they changed the face a little when they sculpted Zeus, but those abdominals, those are mine. Pelagios appreciated how the statues attracted worshippers to the temple, so we were on very good terms. I'm sorry he's gone. Ticket. Or Greek note. Great, Matthew, you found a note in the fruit basket. Let's type it into the translator to see what it says. The note says, "Congratulations, Pelagios and Zosime. The polytheistic priests of ancient Greece were allowed to marry. Zosime must be his wife. We'll have to break the news to Zosime about the murder." Okay, now let's talk to Zosime. Zosime, I'm sorry to tell you that High Priest Pelagios was found murdered tonight. My husband is dead, but he left to pray on the mountain only a short while ago. Pelagios, you cannot leave us. What will become of our unborn child? We hadn't realized you were expecting a child. I'm sorry for the loss of your husband. Pelagios saw it as a miracle that I became pregnant at my age. He said it was a decree from the gods that we would be an eternal family, and now he is gone. May his killer be struck down by a bolt from the hand of Zeus. You must find them, centurions. We're very sorry, Zosime. We will call on you if we need more assistance. So I'll let these two run their courses. I'll have all stars collected from here, including this bonus crime scene, by the time I do. So for now, I'll see you all again when both of these are finished. The autopsy and the substance. See y'all soon. Okay, we are back, and let's get the results of the autopsy. Well, Matthew, Kai is still unconscious. No signs of improvement. It's pretty worrisome. I know, and we still can't take him to see the doctor, since the doctor is suspected of murder. We've got to solve this case if we'll have any hope of getting the doctor's help. Janice, did you learn anything from the victim? Well, the arrow shot into the victim is definitely the murder weapon. It had monk's hood poison on it, which was known in ancient Greece for its lethal effects. A Greek myth says that when Hercules dragged the three-headed dog Cerberus from the underworld, Cerberus drooled all over the place, and from that drool grew the first monk's hood. That's fascinating and a little gross, but we're in kind of a hurry to solve this case. We're getting there. It's important to note that the killer shot the poisoned arrow right in the victim's heart. Given how deep this arrow was buried in the victim's chest, the killer must have fired from a distance, which means it had to be a really good shot. Well, Matthew, we can be sure that when we catch this arrow-slinging killer, we'll be able to prove Theophilus' innocence and cure Kai. Matthew, I'm usually thrilled to investigate, but there's too much at stake in this case for me to enjoy it. I know you're worried about Kai, Zara. We all are. But you know what I do when I'm worried? I think about food. Buttery cakes or a juicy burger and nice salty fries. Sounds nice, but we've got a lab sample to discuss. That's exactly what I mean. The first thing I noticed in the sample you collected from the killer's broken arrow was yogurt. But this sample also contained garlic, olive oil, and cucumber, making a delicious sauce called tzatziki. Apparently your killer couldn't resist having a snack before committing the murder and got some of the sauce on their arrow. Well, this evidence from the killer's arrow will definitely point us in the right direction. Tzatziki. I guess this T is silent, the first one. Well, Matthew, we're in quite a difficult spot. Not only is our time machine broken, leaving us stuck in 37 BCE, but Kai fell unconscious and we don't know what's wrong. It's enough to worry about already. So then we came to Greece to seek help from a doctor, and he was taken into custody as a murder suspect. Now to get his help, we've got to solve the murder. I think we made some good first steps towards discovering who shot the high priest Pelagios with a poisoned arrow. We met his wife Zosime, who was pregnant with their child. It's a tragic situation, really. Then there's Solon, who modeled for the sculptures in Pelagios' temple. He seems an unlikely candidate for the moment, but you never know. I just hope Theophilus isn't the killer, because if... Are you talking about Theophilus? You are the people who were at his home when I arrested him. Tell me why I should not arrest you two as well. Alright, we'll get to chapter 2 after this. Alright, we are back. Let's start chapter 2 of A Greek Tragedy. This is what we last left off on. We're Roman centurions, and we were only talking to Theophilus to interrogate him. It's still possible he's innocent, and we're working to uncover all the facts. I will not release Theophilus until I see proof that he is innocent, but Pelagios was a mysterious man as well. He probably has some secrets buried in the temple garden outside. Interesting, Matthew. I think that guard just gave us a new place to search for clues. Let's check out the temple gardens. And I still got the first star anyway. Well, Matthew, let's keep this quick. We don't want that guard interrupting our investigation again. The drawing on this papyrus scroll looks like a monk should bloom. Monkshood was the poison the killer used on the arrow. There's more written on here, but it's faded. Let's recover the rest. And I agree. This amphora caught my eye too. The people on it look strangely familiar. This deserves a closer look. don't know. There we are. Go right up at the top. Matthew, there was much more writing about the poison that killed Pelagios than we saw at first. This is too much to type into the tablet. Let's get this to Penelope for translation. Sorry guys, I had to look at something. Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Matthew, the couple depicted on that amphora are Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Ah, right. I remember learning that after Caesar's death, Mark Antony visited Egypt and began a torrid love affair with Cleopatra. In fact, that's what began the conflict between Mark Antony and Octavian, because Octavian claimed the affair was proof of Mark Antony betraying the people of Rome. When we last saw Mark Antony, he was in Gaul. It's 37 BCE, and if my history is correct, he's heading back to Egypt to see Cleopatra now. It's possible he's passing through Greece on his way. Let's find Mark Antony and see if he knew our victim. Centurion Matthew, I had no idea you were redeployed to Greece. What a surprise to see you here. We're investigating the murder of a local priest named Pelagios. Did you know him, sir? No, I never saw the man. I have only just stopped in Greece to get a souvenir for my queen. My next destination is Egypt, to gather my forces for further conquest. I hear you've been in Rome. What did you see there? What is that weasel Octavian getting up to? Oh, we didn't see much. Octavian held some games. He paraded the Gallic spoils of war in the streets. The usual. Parading the spoils of war from Gaul? You mean my spoils for my war? Octavian never misses an opportunity to lay claim to another man's victory, the snake. At my earliest opportunity, I will be sure to remind him who the true champion is between us. Good luck finding the killer of that priest. I have no time to piffle about on this matter with you. I must prepare for my voyage to Egypt. And I'll see you guys when the papyrus text is done. See y'all then. Okay, we are back, and let's get the results of the papyrus text. I hope Kai pulls through. Janice is doing her best, but he doesn't seem to be getting any better. I know. If we weren't stuck in 37 BCE, we could take him to the hospital. But for now, we've got to make do with the resources we have. Speaking of which, one of our resources is being held as a potential murderer, and we've got to solve the case. Were you able to translate the text on that papyrus scroll? Yes, but I had to do a little extra research to figure out what it meant. The notes detail a method to get the plant's poison to easily adhere to the killer's arrowhead. It requires a chemical process to turn the substance into a paste, then to smear it onto the arrow. But the most important thing we learn is that your killer knows chemistry. Well, Matthew, once we've identified our killer, we'll be happy to serve as the binding agents. Well, Matthew, that scroll you found is certainly a big step in the right direction. And now that we've learned more about our killer, we can learn more about our victim. Let's revisit the temple. Good eye, Matthew. This looks like like pieces of a bas-relief. But why is it broken? Let's reassemble it. And this small chest could hold something important to the case. Crack the code and we'll see what's inside. Now just one more. So 9, 3, 1, 3, 4. Oh. 9, 6, 1, 6, 4. There we go. You got the chest open. Wow, and look at this fancy bowl. Looks like some kind of ceremonial item. Ah, you're right. There's a name here, but it's hard to read. If we figure out the name, it'll tell us whose bowl this is. Euterpe. Matthew, the name on the ceremonial bowl is Euterpe. She must have worked with Pelagios in the temple. Let's go see what we can learn from Euterpe. Euterpe, however you want to say it. Okay. Centurions, have you come to pay respect to the great Zeus? Actually, we're here investigating the murder of High Priest Pelagios. Pelagios was murdered, but he told me only a short time ago that he was ascending Apollo's stairway to pray. I expected him back any minute. Pelagios was our link to the gods. That link has been severed, and we are adrift without a beacon. What was your relation to Pelagios here in the temple? I am his apprentice. As such, it is now up to me to guide our people in this troubled time. I will nourish them with wisdom and tzatziki, so that they might feel warm and full in this cold. Please excuse me, Centurions. I must go prepare a sacrament for Pelagios' passage into Elysium. Wait, hold on. This is a bas-relief of Zeus that someone had broken, Matthew. I'd imagine the priest wouldn't have taken kindly to such sacrilege. Let's send this clue to Theo to find who broke it. It could give us a fresh lead. I'll see you guys when this is done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the bas-relief of Zeus. I'm worried about Kai, Matthew. What if he can't repair the time machine and get us back home? Theo, at this point, I'm more worried about Kai dying than anything else. You're right, Zara. I'm sorry. That was insensitive of me. What can you tell us about the broken bas-relief Matthew found? Well, looking at the bas-relief, I found trace substances that were clearly left when the individual threw it to the ground. What were the substances? I found some gold, tin, and iron dust, a bit of sodium chloride mixed in as well. These are all substances that an ancient chemist might use. I hate to say it, Matthew, but you're right. Theophilos is a doctor and obviously fits this profile. And he admitted to having disputes with the victim over religion versus science. It makes sense that he broke the bas-relief. We must have another word with Theophilos. Centurion Matthew, how is your investigation progressing? I cannot stand eating subpar prison tzatziki for much longer. Theophilos, things between you and Pelagios were far more heated than you led us to believe. What drove you to break a bas-relief in his temple? Pelagios caused a harm far worse than some broken stone. A disease was rampant here not long ago. I did my best to treat against it, but Pelagios forbade the people to seek medical help and ordered them simply to pray. And those who fell ill died. Now I ask you, how does one's stone carving weigh against the loss of so many lives? Pelagios is lucky I only broke a stone carving. I'm a brilliant marksman and could have run him through if I so wished. And he would have died believing he was struck down by a bolt from Zeus. The imbecile! I hope you didn't let your anger get the best of you, because if you kill Pelagios, that spells doom for you and us. Yes, it does, because that makes him possible. Well, Matthew, we managed to dodge the city guard's suspicion while investigating High Priest Pelagios' murder. I just hope we can solve this one in time before they condemn Theophilus. We need him to cure Kai. But you're right. It's clear Theophilus deeply hated the victim. Do you suppose his rage could reach a murderous level? So far, he's the only one showing any real malice toward the victim. Otherwise, we've met the victim's apprentice, and we happen to find Mark Antony here in Greece. But neither of them have clear motives for murder. We're going to have to do more digging if... Attention, populace. It is I, Solon, returning victorious. I have tamed the mighty Cerberus, the three-headed guardian of the underworld. Those look like three puppies. But then again, Cerberus was the dog. And I'll see you guys for Chapter 3. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we have returned. Let's start Chapter 3 of A Greek Tragedy. We last left off on... this. Behold, I have tamed the fearsome Cerberus, the three-headed guardian of the underworld. Solon, that's adorable, but that's a bunch of puppies, not a mythical three-headed beast. You dare doubt my greatness? You are just like Pelagios. I'll warn you, Centurions, don't make his mistake. Well, this reaction certainly sheds new light on your feelings about Pelagios. Step aside, Solon, we need to ask you some questions. Solon, what was that you said about Pelagios making a mistake? Centurions, I explained to you that I served as the model for all of the statues here in the temple, as well as those up on Apollo's stairway. I see people worship them every day, bowing before my likeness. They are really worshiping me. Surely that makes me a god. My godlike greatness is renowned. Only last week I was named the grand champion in a tzatziki eating competition. Literally everyone was impressed. I explained this to Pelagios, and I even conceded to be labeled as only a demigod, but he accused me of sacrilege. In fact, he threatened to break all of the statues made in my image and have them redone with a different model. How dare he incur the wrath of a demigod? I am mighty. I have tamed the Hound of Hades. Solon, you need to calm down and untie those dogs right now. And let's just hope your last amazing feat as a demigod wasn't killing Pelagios. Wow, Matthew, Solon's got giant muscles, but the biggest thing about him is his ego. I'm just glad we got him to release those poor dogs. Cerberus, the Hound of Hades. What nonsense. Anyway, I think it's time we check the crime scene again. Let's go. Looking for a rose and I don't even see it. There we are. I don't think I'm gonna get the first star, no. Matthew, someone lost their sandal here at the crime scene. Let's take a sample of some of the material on it to find whose it is. This offering pile seems like a good place to hide something. We should search it. And look at these broken pieces. We better put them back together. We've got no time to spare solving this case, Matthew. Kai needs our help. Let's get to work. I'm just going to do everything now. Got it. Matthew, this is an evil eye pendant. Even in present-day Greece, they're a very prominent symbol. They're thought to curse those in their sight. But I don't know how to read the text engraved on the back. I'll just put this in the translator. The text reads, Euterpe, the eyes of Zeus see all. How much do you want to bet this was given by our victim? He was the high priest of Zeus after all. But why would he give a curse pendant to his apprentice Euterpe? We should ask her about it.
Euterpe, can you explain this pendant Pelagios gave to you?
Oh no, That thing is returned? I broke it and conducted a ceremony to banish it, yet here it is. I can't believe Pelagius had the gall to threaten me like this, just because my ceremonial potions are more potent than his. That cretin used every excuse he could find to imply that men were better at communing with the gods. It sounds like Pelagius and you had a lot of enmity. I could not stand him, if you want the truth. His only redeeming feature was his wife, Zosime. We shoot arrows together often. Zeus evidently did not favor him either, or he would not have been killed. Got it. Goat skin. Matthew, that offering contained this goat skin. But it's weird. There's Latin writing scrawled on it. Looks like it mentions Pelagius, and it's signed by Mark Antony. Mark Antony? He said he barely knew Pelagius, so what could this be about? You're right. We better send the goat skin to Penelope and find out. Nine hours. Got it. Herbs. Perfect, Matthew. Now let's put the substance you collected from the sandal under the microscope. Pregnancy herbs. Matthew, the database says the substance on the broken sandal you found is actually a combination of herbs given to help women during pregnancy. You're right. Pelagios' wife Zosime is pregnant. This must be her sandal we found. But what was she doing at the crime scene? Let's ask her. Zosime, we found proof that you were at the scene of your husband's murder. What were you doing there? I had gone up there this afternoon to pray that everyone leave my baby alone. Leave the baby alone? What do you mean? It hasn't been born yet. That didn't keep Pelagius from exploiting my pregnancy. He claimed it was a miracle bestowed upon us by the gods, and he kept telling everyone to touch my belly. At first it was manageable, but people began to show up in the middle of the night. My nerves were fraught. I've been making my own herbal concoctions to deal with the stress he was causing me. I mix them into my tzatziki every day, but nothing helps. Zosime, that's a difficult situation. Regardless, I hope you didn't resort to drastic measures against your husband. Well, now she's possible. I'll let the goat skin run its course. I'll have all stars collected by then. So for now, this is Matthew. See ya again. Okay, we are back, and let's get the results of the goatskin message. Penelope, what did Mark Antony's message on the goatskin say? Was he the one who assembled that offering to the gods? Well, the message translates to Pelagio's bows and scrapes to Zeus, so low that his head is buried, unaware of Ares standing behind him. And what does that mean exactly? The literal meaning is that Pelagios is so busy licking Zeus's boots that he doesn't even realize Ares, the god of war, is behind him, ready to kick his butt. I had Marina help me read between the lines, and she thinks there's more to Mark Antony's message than meets the eye. Marina, what could you discern from the message? Matthew, Ares is the god of violence, and Mark Antony is painting himself as Ares. It's a gigantic show of ego and unbridled anger. This was a threat. But why on earth was Mark Antony so angry at Pelagios? Matthew will have to find out, but stay alert when you talk to him. He is a coiled snake. General Antony, we found a threatening message you wrote to Pelagios. Could you explain that? I was merely blowing off steam when I wrote that. But if you must know, Centurions, I was dissatisfied with Pelagios. In discussing warfare, he was an impotent pile of dung. Impotent pile of dung. Why would you discuss warfare with a priest? And why did you deny knowing Pelagios when we first spoke to you? Pelagios was merely the medium through which I consulted Zeus about the future prospects of Egypt. And the idiot suggested things would not go to my liking. When last someone told me such a drivel, I concocted a vat of acid, hung it over their head, and shot holes in it with arrows. Highest on the list of things you never tell me is that I will fail. Everyone knows that. Pelagios finally learned that lesson himself. Kai still hasn't woken up. His vitals are stable, but he's not improving. I'm not sure what else to do for him. Well, I hope the doctor will be available to help soon. We've just got to find the High Priest's true killer, and the city guards will let Theophilus go. That's my concern, Matthew. What if Theophilus is the killer? What will we do then? We've had the same thought, Janice, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because for now, it's our only hope. And in the meantime, other suspects have come to light. We discovered bad blood from the victim's wife and his apprentice. Then there's Mark Antony, who consulted Pelagios as a medium and didn't appreciate the response he got. And we know Antony has a history of killing the messenger, so to speak. But we're still lacking the final bits to lock our killer in place. That's a great idea, Matthew. We were in a rush the first time we explored the temple garden. It could use another look. Got it. Matthew, you found a mortar and pestle, and that looks like bits of monk's hood in it. This must be the killer's. You're right. This clue was right under the guard's nose, and he didn't find it. It's a good thing we've got our own investigation going, too. And that's a curious-looking box. Let's get it open. Oh, Matthew, it's a bow. Our murder weapon was a bow and arrow. This must be the killer's. So let's get this bow to Theo for examination right away. Boom. Perfect, Matthew. Let's get this ground monk's hood you collected from the killer's mortar and pestle to Janice. Alright, I'll see you guys when both of these are done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the bow. First from Theo. Theo, did you find anything on the bow to lead us to our killer? First of all, I can confirm that it's your killer's bow because there was monk's hood all over it. And thankfully, your killer also got a bit of their clothes pinched between the string and the knock. The threads were woven into a visual pattern called a meander. It's named after the Meander River in Turkey because of the river's serpentine path. This pattern is extremely prevalent throughout ancient Greece, and it definitely features somewhere on your killer's clothing. Well, Matthew, when we've identified our killer, we won't be meandering to make the arrest. I'm sorry if I kept you waiting, Matthew. Kai just woke up and asked for something to drink. He's awake? How's he doing? Well, it's overall a good sign that he's awake, but he's definitely not out of the woods yet. He still needs treatment. In the meantime, I found something very helpful in the sample you took from the mortar and pestle. Your killer had evidently cut themselves before preparing for the murder, because I found some blood soaked into the plant matter. Contact with the monk's hood damaged the blood, so all I could identify was the killer's blood type, which is AB positive. Matthew, with this new evidence, we're one step closer to catching our killer and getting Kai cured. Well, we've done it, Matthew. We have enough evidence to arrest Pelagios' killer. Let's get to it. It's certainly not Theophilos. It's Zosime. Zosime, you're under arrest for the murder of High Priest Pelagios. What? Why would I kill Pelagios? He was my husband and a spiritual leader to our people. We know you took some monk soot and ground it down to create a poisonous concentrate and applied it to the head of an arrow. Then you waited, hid in your Apollo's stairway until Pelagios approached, and you shot him in the heart. There's no question it was you, Zosime. Now tell us why you did it. How do you know all of that? The gods have clearly sided with you and shown you all. I cannot deny it. I killed Pelagios because he was going to murder our baby. What? But you said Pelagios was framing your pregnancy as a miracle from the gods. Why would he want his own child dead? Because the midwife told me the baby would be a girl. Pelagios was livid that it was not a boy. He said the only child worth Zeus's blessing would be a son. He was going to force me to kill my own child while it was still in my womb. He wanted you to kill your baby because it was a girl? He said he would tell everyone that Zeus took the baby from my unworthy womb. I understand the situation felt desperate, but you prevented violence with further violence. There is an innocent man facing retribution for this crime in your stead. I'm afraid we still have to notify the city guards. Zosime, you are charged with the murder of your husband, the High Priest Pelagios. How do you plead? I admit I'm guilty, but I was only looking out for my unborn child. Normal procedure would declare that you leave the city by the next sundown, never to return under pain of death. But since you are carrying the miracle boy of Zeus, we will allow you to remain. I appreciate your offer of clemency, but I want no special treatment. I will go. Very well. Centurions, I cannot thank you enough for finding Pelagios' true killer. As such, we are releasing Theophilus from custody. I'll go and tend to that right now. Centurions, I bid you farewell. I thank you for helping me to see the error of my actions. Zosime, are you sure you'll be alright? Where will you go? I will go to stay with some of my family who live in the small village of Agapelpida. I know they will welcome me. My child will be safe. That is the true miracle of this story, and for that I am grateful. Well, Matthew, another case solved. I'm not surprised a man tried to tell Zosime what to do. That still happens in the present. And now Theophilus is free from custody. We can finally get him to help Kai. We haven't got a moment to spare, Matthew. I'll see you guys for Kingdoms of Clay 4-5. Okay, we are back. Let's start Kingdoms of Clay 4-5. Matthew, we thought the worst that could happen was being stuck in time, but now Kai is sick, and none of our modern medicine seems to help. And if we want to consult a doctor from this era, now is our opportunity since Theophilus was finally released. Well, here's some good news. Kai is conscious and can walk, but he's still very weak, so you must go quickly before his condition worsens. We've already got him in a Greek disguise. Perfect, let's get going. Hold on a second, Matthew. Mark Antony approached me and said he wanted to see you about something. Mark Antony is asking for us specifically? It must be very important. We better see what he wants. Tell you what, go see the doctor now and Matthew can come with me to speak with Mark Antony when you're done. Sounds like a plan to me. Let's get to it, Matthew. Ah, Centurion Matthew. I'm happy to get the chance to thank you in person for proving that I wasn't Pelagios' murderer. We're happy to be of service, Theophilus. Now can you help us cure our friend Kai? Well, I'm afraid his humors are far out of balance. His yellow bile is very high, which heats him up, and he doesn't have the phlegm nor the black bile to cool down. I must say, I've never seen these levels so high in anyone. I have a remedy I would like to try, but I'm missing an ingredient. Kai can lie down here while you retrieve it. We're happy to get it for you, if you tell us what it is and where to look. I need you to climb Apollo's stairway and look for a plant called Sideritis. The flowers stack in long bunches, like wheat. Got it. Kai, you sit tight with the doctor. We'll find the Sideritis and be back as soon as we can. Let's go, Centurion Matthew. Got it. Oh. Matthew, this plant looks like it could match the description Theophilus gave us. He said the flowers stack in long bunches, like this. But if we take the wrong plant and have to come back up here, Kai could get worse. Let's check the database to make sure this is the plant we need. Got the 9, it's Sideritis. Great news! The plant you found is Sideritis. Let's get it to Theophilus to help Kai, pronto! Centurions, I require your assistance. What is this about, General Antony? I'm expecting an important message from Egypt. The messenger should have left it here in the garden, but I cannot find it. And my time is precious, so I want you to look for it, Centurion Matthew. And when you find it, bring it to me. Take this as advance payment for the task. You are dismissed. Leave it to us, General Antony. Centurion Matthew, let's search the garden. Oh well. Is Mark Antony serious? Sending us to look for some message? We're not his personal assistants. Good call, Matthew. You may have saved us a bunch of times. Looks like General Antony didn't think to look in that bucket of gardening tools. Let's dig in. Got it. Message capsule. Matthew, what is that capsule you found in the gardening tools? Do you think it contains a note? This must be the message Mark Antony was looking for. Wait, but this message looks like it's just gobbledygook. It might be in some kind of code. I wonder what it says. Mark Antony can stand to wait a little longer. Let's have Penelope try to decode the message for us so we can see what all the fuss is about. And this is 6 hours. I'll see you when these are done. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Okay, we are back, and let's get the results of the sideritis. Centurion Matthew, your timing is impeccable. I just finished the mixture for your friend, and now I can add the sideritis you found. Here, Kai, drink this. Quick, now, while it's still hot. Ooh, tasty. It is quite delicious, that's true. It will also produce black bile and phlegm to balance out your rising yellow bile, and your health will return to you. That's the first time we've seen him smile in a long time. Looks like he's coming around. This is a very good sign, Centurion Matthew, but to maintain steady improvement, I also recommend that you consult the priestess Euterpe. But you told us you didn't believe prayers helped anything. Not prayers alone, of course not. But along with proper medical treatment, positive attention can do a world of good. Thank you so much for your help, Theophilus. We'll go see Euterpe straight away. Or Euterpe, however you want to say it. Euterpe, our friend Kai is recovering from sickness, thanks to help from Theophilus. And Theophilus recommended that we come to see you to ensure that the sickness doesn't return. I have, too much yellow bile. Ah, rising heat. I can help you with this. We must call upon Poseidon, brother of Zeus, to squelch the fires. I require cones of a sacred incense called Poseidon's smoke to push the heat from your body, Kai. The cones must be handled only by those close to the person being treated. This means you, Centurion Matthew. How do we find the Poseidon smoke incense? You will find the incense here in the temple. Gather only the blue cones, touch not the others. And both you and Kai must partake of nourishment before we begin. Snail. Loops, gotta find bracelet. Yes, got it. You're right, Matthew. This platter looks like it has some of the Poseidon smoke incense we need. Let's collect it. Incense cones. Excellent. I think we've got enough of the Poseidon smoke incense from that platter. Let's light it for Kai. We call to Poseidon, brother of Zeus, king of the broad blue seas, and of each sweet spring and fountain that issues from the earth. Now, breathe deeply, Kai, and feel Poseidon's churning indigo water soften and dissolve the hot ochre bile at your center. Ah, Matthew, my fingers are tingling. I can feel my energy returning. He has answered our call. We thank you, Poseidon, for the coolness of your fathomless depths. That's amazing, Matthew. I'm still not 100%, but Theophilus' tea and this prayer really got me over a hump. Thank you, Euterpe. I am happy to have been of assistance to you, Centurions. Now let's talk to Penelope. Hey Penelope, how's your writing coming along? Oh, it's great actually. Being stuck in ancient times may be scary, but it's perfect for my research. That's good to hear. Speaking of, did you crack the coded message sent to Mark Antony? I did. It was written in what's called a Caesar cipher, named after Julius Caesar. It was frequently used by the ancient Roman military. A Caesar cipher requires shifting the alphabet to use letters that appear before or after the actual letters of the message, like replacing A with B, B with C, C with D, and so on. That's crazy. My friends and I did the same thing to pass notes in school. I had no idea it came from ancient Rome. So what does the message say? Well, I'm afraid the message bears frightening news. It says, Octavius Aegypti conburit, which translates to, Octavian will burn Egypt. Well, Octavian and Mark Antony went to war against each other, didn't they? Yes, they waged war, but Egypt was never destroyed. If Octavian destroys Egypt, it will alter history on an unprecedented scale. We must prevent this at all costs. You're right, Matthew. If we want to stop Octavian, we must let Mark Antony know about his plans. Since he's Cleopatra's lover and ally, he won't want Egypt destroyed any more than we do. We must talk to Mark Antony straight away. Centurions, do you have my message? We do. The message reads, Octavian will burn Egypt. Octavian will burn Egypt? That spineless, rat-sucking, plaster-brained... I'll burn him before he ever gets the chance. I will leave for Egypt at once, and if the boat is not ready, then I will swim there and strangle that sack of snot myself. Here, Centurion Matthew, put your war face on. We will ready ourselves for battle in Egypt. Kai, how have you been feeling since Theophilus treated you? I'm still a bit sleepy, but I feel much better. Thanks for your help, Matthew. And thank you too, Zara. Glad we could help, Kai. And who would have thought ancient medicine would be more effective than our modern medicine? These ancient guys knew what they were doing. How do you think we humans have survived so long? Well, I'm ready to keep working on fixing the time machine. We've got to get back to the present. Hey, one step at a time, Kai. You don't want to overdo it too quickly. Take care of fixing yourself first and foremost. Matthew, what is this I hear about Octavian destroying Egypt? We cannot let him do that. We won't let him do it, Nebbit. Annihilating an entire country means interfering with history on a scale we've never seen before. The only solution is to nip it in the bud. I do not know what this phrase nip it in the bud means, but I agree that Octavian must be stopped. Matthew, let's head to Egypt, pronto. And I'll open the sticker packs in another part. And on another note, I haven't done any cases in Elite Mode in the other but I will soon. Mysteries of the Past or really, I've only done one in Mysteries of the Past, and I haven't done any yet in the Conspiracy. April 11th, that's a Wednesday. Or no, that's no, that's another Thursday. Pardon me. Okay. So that'll do. And again, I'll see you guys on April 11th. So for now, this is Matthew. See you again.